She gave a loaf of bread to a stranger and lost her job. But what she didn't know was that this simple act of kindness would change her entire life. Stay until the end because a helicopter is about to land in front of her house. Maya's alarm rang at 4:30 a.m., like it had for the past 3 years. She slipped out of bed quietly, careful not to wake her little brother, Jonah, who was curled up in the other corner of the room. The house they rented was barely more than a shed, but it was warm enough, and for now, enough was all they could ask for. By 5:15, she had arrived at Morning Crust, the small bakery where she worked. She tied on her apron, rolled up her sleeves, and began kneading dough like clockwork. The smell of yeast and flour had become as familiar to her as the sound of her own breath. Maya had a simple routine: bake, sell, and survive. But one morning, that routine was broken. As she flipped the sign to open, she noticed an elderly woman standing near the glass window outside. Her coat was torn, her gray hair matted. She clutched her stomach like it was folding in on itself. Her eyes weren't begging, but they were empty. Maya hesitated, then opened the door. "Ma'am," she said gently, "would you like to come in?" The woman shook her head quickly. "I don't have any money." Maya smiled. "It's okay. You don't need any, just come in and warm up." Reluctantly, the woman stepped inside. Maya guided her to a corner booth and brought over a small tray, a soft roll, some butter, and warm tea. The woman's hands trembled as she reached for it. "Thank you," she whispered. Maya nodded. "You're welcome." The next morning, while taking out the trash, Maya spotted her again, this time digging through the bins behind the bakery. Maya rushed over. "You don't have to do that," she said, her voice shaking. The woman flinched. I wasn't stealing, I'm just hungry." "Come inside," Maya insisted. "Let me make you something." Again, she served her warm bread and tea, but this time a customer at the counter scoffed. "You let people like that eat here?" Maya looked up. "She's not hurting anyone." "She smells, and it's bad for business," the man sneered. Maya apologized politely and brought the woman to the back. "Don't listen to him," she said softly. "There's a restroom here if you'd like to clean up a bit." The woman blinked, surprised. "Really?" Maya nodded and even handed her a clean dress she'd once planned to donate. Later, as the woman ate, Maya sat with her. "What's your name?" The woman stared at her bread. I think it's Elise. I forget sometimes." Maya frowned. "You don't remember where you're from?" Elise shook her head slowly. "Number just streets and noise. I sleep where it's quiet." Maya wanted to help her, but she could barely afford rent and groceries for herself and Jonah. Letting Elise sleep in the bakery was impossible. The next day, Elise came again. Maya greeted her with the same kindness. She prepared her favorite, honey-glazed rolls. But then Elise stopped coming. 1 day passed, then 2, then 5. Maya began checking the alley each morning. Nothing. A week later, Maya was called to the office. Her boss looked at her with tired eyes. "Maya, I'm sorry. Business has been slow. I have to let someone go." And that someone was her. She packed her things and didn't argue. She simply walked home, unsure how to tell Jonah. With no income, Maya returned to the village she'd grown up in. She hadn't been there since her parents died. One chilly morning, just as the sun peeked over the hills, Maya heard a thunderous sound. A helicopter. It descended slowly, landing in the empty yard across from her small house. Neighbors poured out of their homes in disbelief. A tall man in a suit stepped down. He walked straight toward Maya. Behind him was Elise. Her hair was clean. She wore a blue coat, her eyes clear and focused. "Elise!" Maya gasped. Elise broke into a smile. "Maya!" They embraced like old friends. The man stepped forward. "My name is Thomas. Elise is my mother." Maya's heart skipped. She's been ill for years, early onset dementia. Sometimes she forgets who she is or where she lives. She wandered off months ago. We searched everywhere. He glanced at Elise. But she kept saying the same thing. The girl from the bakery, the one who gave me the sweet bread. Thomas smiled. We traced her steps. It took a while, but we found you. Maya was stunned. I didn't do anything special. Thomas shook his head. You treated her like a human being when no one else did. He pulled an envelope from his coat. Inside, an offer letter. I run a food company. We'd be honored if you'd come work with us, head of product development for our new bakery line. Full salary, housing included. Maya covered her mouth, eyes wide. She looked at Elise, then back at Thomas. You're serious? Maya glanced back at the bakery dress she still wore, faintly dusted in flour. She had once believed that small kindnesses vanished into the air. But today she learned. They bloom in places you'd never expect, even in the landing of a helicopter. But life's surprises weren't done yet. At Thomas's company, Maya flourished. Her ideas for breads and pastries were innovative and heartfelt, often inspired by her time at Morning Crust. Elise, now under proper care, visited often. She never forgot Maya again. And Thomas? He started stopping by her office more and more. At first, it was simple. Want to grab lunch? He'd ask casually. Then it turned into dinners. I know a place by the harbor, he said one evening. Best seafood in the city. Maya laughed. You just want to see if I can critique their breadsticks. Over weeks, conversations deepened. He asked about her childhood, her dreams. She asked about his company, his pressures, his loneliness growing up in wealth. One rainy evening, after a long day of work, they sat on a quiet rooftop with coffee and fresh croissants. Thomas looked at her, his voice softer than ever. You know, I used to think kindness was rare, that people only helped others when it benefited them. Maya smiled. That's the sad part. It's not rare, people just don't notice it. He nodded. But I noticed you. Maya's heart skipped. Weeks turned into months, dinners into routines. Their bond deepened, not rushed, but real. And then, one evening, as golden lights flickered around a quiet garden courtyard, Thomas asked her to dinner again. Nothing fancy, he said, just us. They ate under string lights, laughing over childhood stories. Then he stood up. Maya looked puzzled. Why are you... He pulled something from his pocket and knelt down. Her breath hitched. I used to think my life was complete, he said. But then my mother went missing, and she found you. He smiled gently. And so did I. From a small velvet box, he revealed a ring. Maya, would you marry me? She blinked, tears welled. You're serious? I've never been more. With trembling hands, she said, Yes,